Alrighty, welcome to today's video, and in today's video I want to talk about some very simple additions that you can make to both your regular exercise routine and also the way you approach movement in general that will drastically improve your physical performance no matter what your goals. So when it comes to exercise, often we focus on the classic movements like bench press, lat pull downs, leg press, bicep curls, you know the drill. All of the show muscle exercises. And don't get me wrong, these exercises work and they are great. However, they neglect the importance of laying down a solid physical foundation to build upon. So what exactly am I talking about when I say foundation? So in a nutshell, this is about acquiring a base level of overall mobility, meaning that you have good range of motion, strength and control in all areas of your body. This also means that basic fundamental human movements such as walking, balancing, jumping, lifting, pulling and pushing motions are all understood and practiced correctly before progressing to more advanced movements. This will improve our ability to safely scale up and lift heavier weights so we can continue to build strength and put on muscle for years to come, and it will also maintain a nice level of movement abilities so as we age we can still enjoy the body we're in and maintain a good level of functionality along with the aesthetic appeal that we desire. Now, one of these foundational human movements that has been lost in modern culture is the resting squat position. This position lays a very strong foundation of ankle, knee and hip mobility. The simplicity and efficacy of this movement is very powerful. Simply put, by improving your resting squat, you automatically increase your ability to progress faster in any lower body exercise, including running. And I really want this point to sink in and hit home with you, so I'll say it again. By improving your resting squat, you automatically increase your ability to progress faster in any lower body exercise, including running. Now, the resting squat is a natural resting position for the human being. The problem is that in modern day culture, we no longer use it as a means of movement. Traditionally speaking, humans would use the resting squat to take a shit, and they would also use it literally as a resting position, hence the name. Like I mentioned earlier, this one simple position maintains mobility in our ankles, knees and hips all at once. It is also very low impact, so it can be performed frequently. Myself personally, I will use this position every single day, and it is a great way to maintain a base level of lower body mobility and strength without much fatigue or muscular damage. And there are many other forms of movement that fall into the same category that I like to call nourishing movement patterns, meaning that they are low impact yet they nourish our bodies by improving things like circulation, mobility and elasticity of our joints. They also allow us to connect deeper into our body so we can build better postural awareness and also stabilizing strength that improves our posture. So these nourishing movements can be performed frequently with very little chance of injury, and they'll drastically improve our overall foundation, which increases our ability to perform better in our exercise routines. Now, I will cover other movement patterns like this in other videos, but for now, let's stick with the resting squat. So I'm going to give an example now of why it is so important to learn these foundational movements first. So I've worked in gyms for many years, and far too often I've seen people trying to squat with heavy weights without having the ability to perform a resting squat with just their body weight. And the problem with this is that their body is not ready to lift these heavy weights as they do not possess the range of motion or control to execute the movement correctly. So they continue to keep increasing the weight they are lifting with improper technique and struggle to see any progress. This is ingraining inefficient movement patterns that eventually lead to injury. And this can be applied to any exercise. Now, when we take the time to learn the resting squat first, we have a perfect foundation to build upon and we progress much faster. Now, another brilliant fact about bodyweight movements like the resting squat is that once you can sit comfortably in this position, you can basically do it anytime, anywhere. And the beauty of this is that it does not necessarily need to be programmed into an exercise routine. This movement does not cause much damage to the body at all, so it can be performed on a daily basis to improve circulation and mobility to your entire lower body with just a couple of minutes of sitting in this position. This can be done in the morning, before bed, while cooking dinner, while watching TV, while eating lunch, while drinking coffee, and in an exercise context it can be used as a warm-up or even in between sets as a rest and a postural reset. And this is a very powerful concept when we can truly understand that beyond exercise and exercise routines is the remaining 22 to 23 hours we have in our day. And how we spend this time ultimately affects the outcome of our training goals. So the clip shown in this video is a nice simple way to learn the resting squat through the use of a decline like this hill in my garden. So the decline makes it easier to get into the resting squat and provides space to expand and explore different movements as shown in this video. Now if you do not have access to a hill, simply lowering into a squat with a solid object behind you to sit upon will begin to accustom your body to this movement, and you can progress to squatting lower over time as your body adapts. You can even use something like a TRX to hold on to that will provide support as you learn to get lower into the squat. Now, key positions to focus on for the resting squat position are having the back of your thighs resting on the back of your calf muscles. Your backside is as close to the ground or the floor as possible, and your knees are in line with your toes. However, over time as you adapt, then you can start to move the knees out of line, so to speak, to condition the connective tissue to small amounts of rotation that happen naturally when we run and jump, for example. But for starters, just try to focus on keeping the knees aligned with the toes, just to make it simple and safer as you are getting used to this position. And do not worry about torso position or bending of the spine in the early stages of learning this position. Just try to establish as much of a comfortable position as possible. And once you reach this stage, it means that your muscles and connective tissue in your lower body have adapted, they've become more mobile and elastic, and you are now a stronger human being. And this is a wonderful feeling from such a simple and accessible practice if we have the patience to obtain it. Now, you may have also noticed the variety of movements that can stem from the resting squat position shown in this video, and that they can be progressed into more complex movements over time. So feel free to use some of these movements as examples as how you can play with this movement and become more connected to your body, as there is no such thing as a wrong movement as long as you understand your body and you are under control. And the more movements like this that we can add into our daily lives, the better, as the accumulative effects are very powerful. The point is that the more natural positions we can perform on a regular basis that keeps our bodies mobile and strong without causing too much fatigue are our greatest asset for long-term results. This means we always have a strong foundation we can rely upon to build muscle. It means we have good general day-to-day mobility we can rely upon so we don't run into one of those freak injuries that seem to come out of nowhere. This means we have less setbacks, and it also opens up more options of movement if you're interested in expanding your body's overall capabilities, which myself personally I find extremely rewarding and fun to approach exercise in that manner. Unlocking new movement skills becomes more of a joy than a chore, and it keeps the excitement and imagination alive, which I believe are very important, not just for physical health, but also our mental health. And I find that if we cherish our bodies and we make the time in our busy schedules to just spend 5 minutes a day in a peaceful setting, it can do wonders for our overall well-being. Exercise is often viewed as being painful, and if it doesn't hurt, then it's not effective. But this is simply not true. Pain is a great indicator that you are pushing yourself and progressing, but there also needs to be a balance, and there needs to be this nourishing side of our practice if we truly want to unlock our true physical potential. So to recap this video, the message is simple. Perform regular nourishing movement patterns that can be done on a daily basis that do not cause too much damage on the body, while they are also improving overall mobility, such as the resting squat. The more of these nourishing and safe movements we accumulate over time allow our bodies to have more athletic potential, a stronger, more mobile foundation to increase muscle mass, and a wider potential to perform more complex movement patterns if you wish to go down that route. Not to mention, these nourishing movements will be crucial in maintaining health and longevity as we age and our bodies do not recover as fast. So I really hope this video provided you some insight into the less talked about side of health, fitness and exercise, and how we can start to view movement as how we engage with our environment throughout our day and not just in the gym. So with that being said, thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.